Hello guys and welcome to the channel UFO to Know, and in today's video I just really quickly wanted to talk about George Van Tassel. Now in the raw material in session 14.13, Dawn asks who gave George Van Tassel the information on how to build the Integratron. And Ra responds by saying, I am Ra. There were two contacts which gave the entity with vibrationary sound complex George this information. One was of the Confederation and the second was of the Orion group. So George was contacted by both the Confederation and the Orion group. His first contact was with the Confederation, then followed by the Orion group at a later point. The Confederation was caused to find a distortion towards non-contact due to the alteration of the vibrational mind complex patterns of the one called George. Thus the Orion group used this instrument. However, this instrument, though confused, was a mind-body-spirit complex devoted at the heart to service to others. So the, shall we say, worst that could be done was to discredit this source. So what I interpret Ra saying in this is that at first they had contacted him. Something happened to George Van Tassel, causing an alteration in the way he was thinking, his vibrational mind complex, that stopped their contact and allowed the Orion group to start using him. And because he was such a service to others entity, there wasn't really much that the Orion group could do to him other than to try to discredit him. Now, I'm just theorizing here, but I'm guessing fearful information of doom may have been thrown into the mix, and maybe George started to focus on that. I'm not really sure. It's not clear as to what caused the mind alterations for George. Now, I found a very interesting interview on YouTube that I highly recommend you guys check out if you're interested, on the Cavos Webster Reports interview with George Van Tassel. I'm going to link it in the description box below or in the comments. In the interview, George says that he met in 1953, I believe, a Venusian man named Sokanda. There was actually four human-looking males that were in this bell-shaped craft. He described them as being about 5'6" tall. They all had this nice tanned complexion. They looked to be in their late 20s, and they claimed to be over 700 years old. He said that the voice that they spoken reminded him of Ronald Coleman, which was a man with a very proper British accent. And he said that these Venusians gave him a formula for time travel, which he used for his Integratron. And the formula given was F equals 1 over T, where F is the variable for frequency and T is the variable for time. He then said 10 years later, a man came in a Cadillac. And this man came alone, and he drove up to him basically and showed him and 19 other witnesses that he could disappear and reappear 3 times with a snap of his fingers. So I believe if George Van Tassel is telling the truth, then it would be very likely that this second encounter with this man would actually be maybe a thought form of the Orion group, the equivalent of the Men in Black. So I found that very interesting. I highly recommend you guys check out the interview, and yeah, take care.